little frustrating. Are you frustrated, Ginger Ann?
Yes.
Yep. I feel your pain. Took me 2 minutes longer than what I had planned on and just getting floppy.
Yes, that's exactly why I'm frustrated.
So, so, so yeah, you just learn how to kind of move people along. Business, well, if you can do a business x-ray interview in about 35 minutes. You can take longer. It's taken me longer than an hour.
I'm surprised you only went 2 minutes over because this was probably my longest business x-ray interview.
Right. Well, I wasn't thinking you were surprised. I was thinking you were impressed is the word you were thinking.
Yes, very.
So, Marla and Luke, a father, it's very hard to impress your wife after 40 years, and your children might even be harder, especially if you work with them a lot. They're like, that's nothing. That's nothing. So I'm always trying to impress my children. Questions on that, Ginger Ann, anything or thoughts?
No, I'll just have to try to include a more close up on the 1 to 10s for you, so it'll be easier to read.
I don't know why I missed that. Yeah, I think the PDF converter, so that's one. So PDF converter, I think, makes a difference. And so we might want to get what's the best PDF converter and then have one person do it or make it available to everybody.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Jason normally does them for me, but he was gone, so I should have had to do it.
Yeah, so having depth in that and doing that. But I don't know why I had it up on my other screen. So the link, the synergy tools link, I could have read it there. It was right there in front of me and I just didn't notice it. And so I could have done that. So that's one thing. Anything else that you saw?
I wasn't sure if it was going to come around to coaching or not.
Yeah, I tried to wait as long as I could to kind of tease you.
Yeah, I know. You just had to hold out as long as possible.
So yeah. Anything else? Marla was a little nervous on this side.
Why?
I was kind of falling asleep. Did you notice that?
Wow.
It's the coolest thing. It's the coolest thing to see me fall asleep in an x-ray and keep talking. So when
it's those grandkids, they're wearing you out too much. Not getting your naps.
Right. I need a grandpa nap. So yeah, when I'm going slow, so I have to go slower for certain personalities, but then the Amish too, the English and Amish translation stuff, I have to pause so I'm not overwhelming them. So they have to kind of give them stuff, and then so that's a little bit rough. So I was falling asleep literally, but I've done that before. It's cool to see me fall totally asleep and then wake up 5 minutes later having the presentation going just fine. It's weird. So the pauses, I made a note of that. So I don't normally make notes, but the quality, we definitely want to figure out systems on that. The pause, and then you guys can't, well, you might be able to see it. So he cannot see me. He can't see the screen. So why am I doing all the body language? One is to obviously keep awake, somehow awake. But there's energy, there's energy. And so my brother going to the Amish church, I'm telling you, that was cool. So it's like I was there. So the Amish, I think, are trained very heavily not to show any emotion publicly. I don't know. But there's people like dancing in the aisles yesterday and clapping and doing all kinds of flags and all kinds of stuff. And the Amish are there. A lot of Amish were there. And they're just very somber. And so, I mean, my dad was kind of like that too. He would not raise his hands and worship. He was not braggadocious. He would not lift himself up. He was very, he did not think that you ought to be the center of attention. And so, the body language gives you force and power in your voice. It helps you to convey that you believe what you're saying, and it helps them to believe it too. And so the body language, I think, is really important. Big thing, huge thing, massive thing. Like, I'm going to get myself in trouble, and I don't do as good with the client because I don't know what industry they're in. So what we do is in the industry. Do you know what the industry was, Ginger Ann?
I put it all in the business X-ray notes. I forget off the top of my head.
Okay. So in MCAT, it actually has industry right up underneath the email. So email
it's something about converters or something like that. He works on like a bunch of different cars and tractors and stuff, and he sells something that it works with them on. I'm just not sure. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. So what we want to do is because the Amish have tremendous diversity, much more than the English do. So the Amish have all kinds of, it's crazy how much diversity there is. I love it, but I need to know, because if I know what they are, if I know what business, what industry they're in, it helps me to then use stories about that industry or what they're doing. So it's really important. And at this point, I can't really ask them what industry they're in, because that would make us look not good. So we need to do, work on that, put it right into MCAT, right in the top part. And then when I say, I go through everything, I overwhelm them. So what I tell them in sales, you got to get them to, to know, like, and trust you. So trust, I say to them at the beginning, it's very intentional. I say to them at the beginning, we're going to, if it seems like we're going over a lot of information in a short period of time, the reason it seems that way is because we are. Then I pause and he laughed just like most people do. So if I can get somebody laughing, they'll like me. And so if I can get somebody laughing, that's a good sign. Then I swing back at the very end and say, as promised, we went over a lot of information in a short period of time. So what it's doing is it's reminding him, this guy keeps his word. Like, I can trust him. Like, he says something, he's going to do it. So I've got to do that. I don't say, trust me. I think that's stupid. Like, I'm honest, I'm integrous. I don't like when people do that. When people do that, I don't trust them. But so I have to demonstrate trust. So what I do is I say, and then I say again at the end, and then I overwhelm him on these things. And then at the very end, I say, or your next step. So most of the time, people will go ahead and choose the last thing you have. And so that works with anything. So if you want something from somebody and you give people a list, just whatever you want, put it at the last. So Marla could use that with Kenny. Like, do you want to go out to eat? And he's like, sure. And he says, where would you like to go? And she could list 4 things. And what she says at the end, he's most likely to choose that. So it looks like he's the one making the decision, but he's really not. You're making the decision. So if you do the last thing, that is very powerful psychologically. Anything else, Ginge, you got?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Luke, anything else you got, sir?
No.
Marla, anything else you got? No. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. You guys have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye.